more than 1,000 customer thefts every day in the UK, the High Street is fighting back. On London's Oxford Street, a specialist team of private investigators are hidden in the crowds.
Just seeing if I've spotted somebody potentially.
Early afternoon, an undercover detective Steve's just spotted a familiar face. An already busy day is about to get busier.
Female across the road in the long jacket. It looks like it could be the female that we've previously prosecuted and actually got sent to prison.
The woman is a regular fixture on the TMI Most Wanted list and is a constant thorn in Ed and Steve's side. She's already banned from many of the stores in the West End, so now she's back on the streets, it's raising all the red flags.
She commits offences on a daily basis. She seems to go out, steal items, sell them within 5 or 10 minutes, and then she's got enough money to buy her drugs. She's only recently come out of prison, so I suspect that she'll be going straight back inside.
3 months ago, she went AWOL after failing to turn up at court.
Unfortunately, she's failed to appear today. So we've come out of court with a warrant, meaning that she's going to be circulated as wanted.
The very next day, Steve got intel that she'd been spotted and stopped by uniformed colleagues.
Yeah, stand by, I'm literally 1 minute from you, mate. Right, just to check, have you called police, yeah? Yeah. Good. We're going to wait for police and we'll go from there.
When the police arrived, the woman was arrested. She was sentenced to 26 weeks in prison. But just 13 weeks later, if it is her, is she back to her old tricks?
So I believe I just spotted somebody who used to be our most prolific shoplifter in the West End. I was just hoping for some confirmation as to whether it is or isn't her, because obviously I don't want to get too close because she does know me. Do you recognise the female walking past, going up towards Oldenstein? The skinnier female, the one with the bag on the right shoulder? Yeah, the one on the left with the jacket. That's the thing, mate, she's been inside for sort of 13 or 14 weeks. It looks it, but I don't know. Tidied up a bit since being inside, which would obviously make sense because she's not been on the drugs. She was a very heavy drug user, so obviously being in prison the last 3 months, she wouldn't have had access to any of the drugs. So yeah, she would obviously look a bit cleaner. I'm 90% sure it could be her. No, exactly, yeah, I'll come down with you. All right. If that is her and she's back to her old shoplifting ways, then we'll start getting messages sort of multiple times a day of sightings of her. She's essentially banned from the majority of the stores in the area just from where she is so prolific. I don't know, I'm not certain, but I'm fairly certain at the same time.
Uniformed colleagues, my local bobbies, are called in for support.
Oh, that's typical. So our uniform team just tried to get eyes on to see whether it is, but it seems that she's taken one of the side roads. But yeah, I'll circulate a description just in case she does crop up again. I am fairly certain it is her. But if it is, mate, she looks different. Exactly, yeah, which would make sense because, like I say, she would have been off the drugs for the last sort of 3 months or so.
Steve heads back to Oxford Street, the epicentre of this suspect's shoplifting world.
Somebody else has just confirmed it is her and she's just been spotted heading in our direction actually. So we're just going to see if we can get eyes on her and see what she's up to. So this was the store that we caught her multiple occasions, at least 5 or 6 times stealing items from, so I'm going to hang around here and see if we spot her coming this way. Someone else has confirmed that she's heading our way, so I'm just keeping an eye out to see whether I can see her and see whether she is still out stealing or whether she's perhaps sort of changed her ways since being in prison.
While Steve waits to find out if the newly released woman is here to break the law, another face emerges from the crowd.
A massively prolific offender is literally about to walk in front of me. This one in the grey tracksuit. We've also sent her to prison. She is a massively prolific shoplifter.
Steve now faces a dilemma. Does he wait for prolific offender number 1? Or does he switch and follow serial offender number 2? It's decision time.
I'm loitering around M&S in Oxford Street.
In London, undercover detective Steve is hot on the trail of a prolific shoplifter recently released from jail. But a second serial offender has just crossed his path, and he's forced to choose who to follow.
She's literally just walked in front of me while I'm trying to find the other female. Obviously I've got to try and prioritise here. This is somebody who I know is still out committing theft offences. Someone who we've previously prosecuted, and she actually received a custodial last time we prosecuted her. I've just spotted her on Oxford Street, so I'm going to monitor her for a bit, see where she goes and what she does. The only difficult thing is she does know me, I know her. So I've got to try and hang back so I don't get spotted. She's there.
So Steve must tread carefully.
She's taking a left down towards Carnaby Street.
Steve, keeping a safe distance, watches as she pops into a coffee chain to help herself to breakfast.
So she's just in Costa at the minute. She's just concealed some food in there, and has now left without paying, walking back towards Oxford Street.
It's important that Steve shares intel with the London stores of any potential threat.
Hello mate, you might have a female come in here in a minute. This one, she's a shoplifter, but I'm plain clothes and I'm watching her. I alerted one of the security guards in one of the stores to her, just so that they're aware, and I think they actually deterred her from taking anything. No, she walked in, saw your security guy and left. So she went in the store, I let the security guard know, who deterred her from taking any items, which is a good thing in a way.
Steve suspects the woman has spotted she's being followed, so she heads off down into the tube and away from sight.
She's sort of done a lap of Oxford Street and then she's gone into Oxford Circus Station. With her in particular, I've no doubt in saying that she'll be back out later on today. With quite a few of the stores that she targets, if she doesn't get anything the first time, she will visit the store a few hours later and try again. I now know her, so if I do stop her, proving her identification and stuff like that makes life a lot easier. The downside is me trying to track her, see where she goes while she's on the street as well as in stores. Yeah, it's quite a difficult challenge at times.
And this time it's a challenge that has seen the suspect go to ground. But Steve now knows 2 regulars are out and about, and he's watching and waiting. At over a mile long, London's Oxford Street is a magnet for shoppers and shoplifters alike. On its pavements, undercover detectives scan the crowds for suspicious behaviour and familiar faces. Close to Oxford Circus, Steve and Adam are scanning the crowds for potential thieves.
Me and one of my other colleagues were just patrolling Oxford Street when we spotted this guy who looked quite suspicious to us. We both thought that it was up to no good, so we started monitoring him for a bit. Almost immediately he's gone into a store and he's bought 2 empty sort of carrier bags, bag for life.
To the well-trained eye, buying a bag for life without goods to put into it can be behaviour that suggests intention to steal. Steve and Adam suspect they're dealing with a professional and follow him to a nearby fashion chain store.
When he's gone to the lower ground floor level, he's just started selecting items. It didn't look like he was even paying attention to what he was selecting. It was just sort of random items, which made me think that he was obviously out to steal them. And he's gone into a fitting room, and then when he's come out, all the items are concealed in a bag.
The man leaves the store and darts into Oxford Circus Station, where the team catch up with him.
If you get funny, you're going to the police station. I promise.
Stop moving your hand.
Okay.
Right, you know why you've been arrested, yeah? Shoplifting. Just watched you in there, you've taken items without paying. You went into the fitting rooms, you've come out, you haven't paid for it, alright? You are under caution, okay? Are you known to the police?
Yes.
What for?
Yeah? Have you got any identification on you, mate? We'll check your bag in a minute. Have you got any ID on you, though? No? We need to prove who you are, otherwise you have to go to the police station. Okay, my colleague will check in a minute, alright? I'm going to find out what you've got in here. Before I check, have you got any shots? Have you got anything sharp in there? Anything that could hurt me, you know?
The team's hunch was a good one. The man is known to the police and has admitted to having a track record of shoplifting. Now they need to take him back to the store.
Mate, where did you take back to the store? Any funny business?
No, I promise to
and
God I won't.
Put straight I won't. Right?
So you're going to walk with me, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, we're going to do this carefully.
Yeah.
Do not try anything.
I won't try nothing, I promise.
Cool. We're going to calmly walk back, yeah?
In the store's holding room, the first job will be to find out exactly who they're dealing with.
So I'm going to keep hold of you while you're on the escalator, yeah?
When they get there, Steve recognises the jacket the man is wearing.
Next question is going to be the jacket that you're wearing. That's going to be here as well.
No, my jacket.
Why have you got so many Oyster cards on you, mate?
Some of them run out.
Some of them run out?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you just top it up?
When questioned, the man mentions something that sets the alarm bells ringing. Could it be the man is part of an organised gang?
We drove down here.
Who did?
Me and the girl and Tiny.
Who's Tiny?
The guy in there.
What's his name?
Tiny.
What's his real name?
I don't know about.
So who is he to you?
Just a driver.
Have a seat, mate. Well, we need some ID from you, otherwise you're going to go to a police station. So just, where is Tiny now? Is he in the area?
Yeah.
Is he shoplifting as well?
No.
No?
Wait.
So it's just you that's out shoplifting today?
They asked me to get things.
They asked you to get things? Alright, where are they now?
Near Marble Arch.
Near Marble Arch. So you're on your way back to meet them at Marble Arch?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
This new information raises some serious questions. Is someone using the man to steal for them? Many organised crime gangs are now using vulnerable people to do their dirty work. Could this be the situation here?
so he'd taken 3 jackets in total. I can't remember the exact amount. I believe it was just under £350. I think it was about 337.
They notice an issue with the stock which could indicate a more serious offence.
Right, I'm going to ask you one very straightforward question. Where are the security tags that were on these products?
I checked this none.
Okay, well we're going to check CCTV, alright? Okay. You got any ID for you on?
Can't get in there.
Okay, I'll tell you out the cuffs in a minute,
Yeah.
and you can get it out. If anything else comes out of your pocket that is not your ID, or you try anything, you will be placed back in handcuffs, alright? The reason you're in them is because you tried to get away at the train station.
I didn't mean to.
Okay.
While searching his pockets, they come across something else that might point to his involvement with an organised gang.
What have you got pliers for?
They were in that bag.
Why have you got them though?
They really.
No, but why are you carrying them in central London today?
Pliers are a favourite tool of shoplifters for removing security tags. And this could now mean a charge of the much more serious offence of going equipped to steal. But who supplied the man with pliers?
You get funny, you're going to the police station.
I promise.
Stop moving your hands.
Okay.
In central London, Adam and Steve have detained a man caught shoplifting from a high street fashion store.
Are you known to the police?
Yes.
What for? Yeah? Have a seat.
And as they were searching the man for some ID, the team found a pair of pliers.
Why were they in your bag?
It's not my bag.
He also let slip that he wasn't working alone, making the team suspect an organised shoplifting spree.
Whose bag is it?
This is Tiny's bag.
It's Tiny's, right. Tiny seems to be quite a character.
While the man is facing the more serious crime of going equipped to steal, which could mean jail time, the team are increasingly suspicious he's being used by somebody else.
We've pulled the pliers out of his jacket, the sort of blazer jacket that he had on. When I asked him about them, he said that they were in his friend's bag and he's just moved them into his pocket for some unknown reason. He was talking rubbish. He had no real legitimate reason for having them on him, and for the fact that all the products had had their security tags removed makes us think that when he was in the fitting rooms, he's probably used the pliers to remove the security tags in there.
You seem to know the layout of the store and what you was doing and where you was going, because I was behind you the entire time.
They told me how to do it.
Okay. So is somebody making you do this?
Yeah.
What are you going to get out of it?
You get some electric, gas.
Gas and electric, all right. Well, obviously we need to establish who this trainer is then, don't we? Yeah. Because he can't be letting you go shoplifting.
Take a photo of you.
Steve's earlier suspicions seem well founded. Although the man appears to be a professional thief who knows all the tricks of the trade, something doesn't feel quite right. Perhaps the streets of London still have their share of shady Fagin-type characters feeding on the vulnerable.
The modus operandi that they develop is that they're not the ones doing the criminal activity, they're controlling vulnerable individuals and forcing them to do it on their behalf. And so these shadowy figures quite often won't be apprehended or prosecuted. The individuals that will be are those that have been forced into stealing from shops or pickpocketing from tourists, for example. And they're the ones that will essentially take the fall.
I'll tell you the way that we're going to look at dealing with this, alright? We're going to look at dealing with it by means of a private criminal prosecution, and the most likely outcome was you receive a summons in the post to go to court. Best thing for you to do is to turn up.
Yeah.
If you don't, you could then be wanted and stuff like that, alright? So when you get that letter, make sure you attend, alright?
Yeah.
Did you pay for that?
Shoplifting is no longer just a crime of lone wolves and opportunistic thieves. It's organised and exploitative. But there are good people out there who, whatever the danger, will stop them in their tracks.